Victorias City. He is also a descendant of Alejandro Acuña, and he is one of the advocates in promoting and rediscovering historical sites and culture and forgotten culture here in Victorias City. Without further ado, let us now start our session this afternoon by welcoming our City Council member to deliver the cultural situationer of Victorias City. Please welcome Honorable Dino Jose Maria O. Acuña. Let's give a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, to the distinguished people who are around. This is a combination of human social studies and Aral teachers. It's a great honor for me to have been invited to join you today in this gathering, and I would like to, of course, extend my gratitude to Agnes Peñas and to Sir Donnel and to all. Actually, I have been waiting for a privilege to have been given an opportunity to speak before, especially to the social studies teachers, Aral teachers, and to the members of the Academy of Victorias City. Thank you for that opportunity, and I would like to apologize for coming in late today because we have an ongoing quiz bee contest that's sponsored by the Sangguniang Panungsod for our barangay officials at the new evacuation center. So, don't worry, I brought a number of books, but I'm not going to read them one by one to you, but I will just show you and make, this is just going to be like a session for all of us to be able to discuss and probably understand the cultural and historical situation of our city. You are one of the potential people that needs to be addressed with regard to cultural and historical situation of the city because you teach children. And our goal is nothing less but to educate our children of the significance of history. As a city, it is important that we will be able to inform and educate our children because I always believe that, in order for one to be able to move forward, it is important that you should understand history. Actually, ang Victorias, as we know it, I'll just give a little overview of what I understand about Victorias, about culture, about heritage, about anything that catches the interest of people who are more or less engaged in history and culture. Ang akong personal appreciation, ang personal impression ko of Victorias and the Victorianos is that more than sugar, more than tourism, more than the physical attractions that we can see around us today, there is one more asset and feature of Victoriano that needs to be recognized and realized by every Victoriano. That is the resiliency that is in our innate character and traits. Did you know that Victorias, let me start a little bit to the early times. In the 1850s, 1840s, wala pa Victorias, wala pa Manmalihaw. What we have is a community whose main center is what is now known as the Ibi Magalona or Sarabia, known as not Tugkagawan, but it's actually Tukgagwan. Okay? The community of Tukgagwan covers the area not only of Sarabia today or Ibi Magalona, but as well as before Victorias was known as the Barrio of Malihaw, it was also known as the community of Torreno. Okay? And then later on, it evolved into like a Barrio of Malihaw, and Tukdagwan did not just end in Malihaw, it continued to spread to as far as Manapla and Chambere in Cadiz City. So that whole community is called Tukdagwan. Okay? However, as we all know, it was very common in the past, Moro attacks and piracy along the seashores of Negros. Because from Mindanao to go to Batangas and to other parts of Luzon, they have to navigate through the straits of the Visayas. That is why in Cebu, in Iloilo, in Negros, in Bohol, pirate attacks, or they call it Moro attacks, was very prevalent. The last recorded official Moro attack in Negros was in 1827. Okay? So, sa una, the community of Tukdagwan, because it was situated along the seashores, the coastal area of Ibi Magalona, Huerto Mungtong, and other places that we can still hear today, Aradaang community. Okay? And then, because of the prevalence of the pirate attacks, ang tao started to move up towards the highland. Okay? So nagsayaka sila sa ilo, sila sa kabukiran. This was during the time na more or less damo Negritos or Itas or Aborigines. Okay? Sana medyo nagtaway na because the last officially recorded Moro attack was in 1827, maybe along 1830s or 1840s or 1850s, nagamat-amat naman naliwat ang mga nagsayaylo sa babaw bukid, kaya wala na Moro attack. There might be occasionally pirate attacks or what we call in Ilonggo as Tulisanes attacks, yung mga local robbers yung yabala, halin sa Maras, halin sa Anay, halin sa Diin, yung mga sindikato. So sometimes they are misconstrued as Moro pirates, but actually they are just local robbers that do the same thing. They go by boat and go to the village and attack the village and steal whatever they can, kill some natives and locals and leave. No? So after na medyo nagtawhay na, maybe in the 1830s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, 1860s, nagamat-amat na balik ang mga tao dito sa Sarabia. Okay? Muna siyang Sarabia. So, but there was also a small group of people na nagsettle siya in the mouth of Malihaw River in what is now known as Daan Banwa. So halin sa babaw, imbis mabalik sila sa Sarabia, nanaog sila yan to the mouth of Malihaw River. Why? Because ang mouth of Malihaw River, if you can actually see, hindi siya facing the open sea. May pasil pa sa barangay 6A, masulod ka pa, doon natago siya, hasta sa inyo sir, sa mga Port Ayon area. So, very strategic siya na safe sila from Moro attacks. And then, nagkamatama to, they discovered that it was a good fishing ground, damo seashells and fish, and it's ideal to start a new community in that area. That area later on evolved to be called Barrio of Malihaw because of the abundance of Malihaw trees along the river banks, and also of course the presence of the Malihaw Mountain and the river that is called Malihaw. So that's how we started a community called Barrio Malihaw. Okay? Ang ngalan sa Barrio Malihaw was renamed into originally the town of or pueblo of Nuestra Señora de las Victorias only in 1876. Actually, makat ko anay jutay, the only original historical records known to Victoriahanon, the only two is one, the manuscript of Esteban Melandoni. Esteban Melandoni was the Secretary Municipal of Victorias in 1901, who later became mayor in 1928. He left a written memoir about the history of Victorias. Okay? He made 2 chapters. Chapter 1 talks about the recollection of the elders of the town when he arrived in Victorias in 1901. This was the time when the Principalia or the government of Victorias was still located in what is now known as Daan Banwa. Okay? So that's where you can find the story of Kapitana Tutang, Mikay, Barrio Malihaw as a small fishing village, and the attacks and Gregorio Conlo, the husband of Kapitana Tutang. That part of the story you can find in chapter 1 of the manuscript of Esteban Melandoni. Okay? Number 2, because he was the Secretary Municipal of Victorias in 1901, he was the most credible person to take hold of all the records, decrees, ordinances, resolutions, executive orders, and all policies of the municipality of Victorias. Since he has all of it in his possession, probably I would say that in his retirement, maybe prior to war, that's when he started to write his manuscript, and he used all those documents to write make them basis of his writings of the second chapter. The second chapter talks about the problem that Victorias encountered. Number 1, there was an executive order issued by the general in Manila, Governor General in Manila, because as we all know, in 1901, 1899, the Americans took over after the Philippine Revolution from the Spaniards. They bought the Philippines as provided for in the Treaty of Paris, and they took over the government. So in 1901, 1902, they issued a decree that will dissolve small towns in favor of the bigger towns with bigger income, and that brings down the 34 municipalities of the province of Negros Occidental into just 21. And that included Victorias. In that same decree, what we all know now as SUMAB became only a barrio o Bacolod. To this day, it continues to exist as a barangay o Bacolod, but prior to 1902, it was a town of its own. The same with Isyo in Kawayan, the same with Granada in Bacolod, the same with Ginbalaon in Silay, and many others. Victorias was supposed to be dissolved, but because of the resiliency, dedication, hard work of our forebears, our forefathers, our leaders of the past, like Esteban Melandoni, Ricardo Gonzaga, Segundo de Leon, they were able to find a way so that the municipality of Victorias will be able to retain its townhood. What they did was they sought the help of former Governor Eliseo Severino, who was a good friend of Governor General Francis James Smith, who issued that order, and they asked Severino to go to Manila to plead that Victorias be excluded in the list. And 2 weeks after, they received a telegram from Severino from Manila telling them that your town will not be dissolved. That's one other victory that took place during that time because of the resiliency, dedication, love, and loyalty of our leaders. There are two other occasions when our town almost got dissolved. Another story is that during the time of Capitan Gregorio Conlo and his uncle Mariano Conlo, they always fought, They finished off all their fortunes, Conlo, in Bacolod to pay for the suits. Kami nga sila ako sa ranay, kami nga sila kaaway. Ang tanan na investors, ang tanan ng mga negosyante na nasa Victorias, sa daan banwa pa. Kaya kagarot sa Victorias, kaya isa lang ang pamilya ang gainaway. So, the governor said that since nagamay na kamo, wala na kamo income, wala na kamo investors, I will make Victorias a part of Manapla. And you will just become a barrio of Manapla. And he sent Pedro Miraflores to govern as the Capitan del Barrio of the now, imbes na Pueblo Victorias, Barrio of Victorias. Okay? It was not until the Revolution of 1898 when General Lacson and General Anicito Lacson and Juan Araneta took over the government of Negros Occidental as a cantonal government, that the leaders of Victorias pleaded na ibalik sa amon ang amon nga shoot na banwa because makasustain man kami from our own income. That's the only time when for the second time we were able to win back our town. Okay? May side lang po, pero nasibon ko kasi support ka mo. Unfortunately, ang cantonal government under Anicito Lacson and Juan Araneta, when the Americans took over, contrary to the decision of the leaders in Panay, ang mga cantonal government yan, nag-support actually sa Amerikano. Imbis na maaway pagid sila, ay another foreign invader na naman ang nag-abot. Whatever reason, nag-support sila. Yeah, that's why kontraman sila sa taga-Panay. But anyway, nag-take over ng Amerikano sa 1899. But officially in 1901, that's when nag-establish na sila sa mga pueblos, kay sa mga towns, kay sa education system. Kita nyo mga dumagit isiniman, 1901, 19 nagpadala na sila di, nagtudlo na English. So anyway, that was the second time na win back ang ato nga pagkabanwa. Ang third time, that is why ako yagambal ko sa lawas ko, more than if you are a true Victoriano and you understand history, you will get to appreciate that more than the beauty that you can see around today, yung ilanggan ng mamangha kaman sa resiliency sa aton past leaders. Because had it not been for their dedication, dugay na tanang dula. Ang third time na taning nadula kita was when it was discovered that the local government of Victorias in Daan Banwa was able to illegally occupy 2 pedasos of land owned by the Benedictos. Okay? Kabalo ka mo, halin sa Toreno, Gloreville, Victorias Memorial Park, Tacumon, hasta Romana, Hacienda Pink, Hacienda Los Angeles, Tacumon, Cambaot, anak, is just owned by one person, and that is Teodoro Benedicto. Si Teodoro Benedicto had 2 daughters. Ang daughter niya, na isa, amo na si Basa. Si Basa, amo ni Hacienda Basa 1, Hacienda Basa 2, lolo ni Gobong Lacson. Kaya ang bata niya ni Basa, si Otelia, nanay ni Mami Lacson, na tatay ni Bong Lacson. Okay? O, si Basa Benedicto, papalit na. Si Basa Benedicto had a sister named Romana Benedicto.
Now you are familiar ba Hacienda Romana, Elementary School? Sino taga Romana? Ang mag-utod na Benedicto also married na mag-utod na Montinola. Okay? Amo naman na si Leon Montinola kag ang isa nga si sabi sa ko kay kakadlaw ko. But I read this akong libro, but I don't have the time magbukal pa subok. That after Montinola became governor of Iloilo in 1912 and later on senator of the Republic of the Philippines in 1930s. Ako ni siyang mana ni Romana Benedicto Ulo ni Governor Bong. Okay? So now, kay maalam ko sila, kag sila may kwarta, tapos na niya sa unang mag-acquire land holdings. Amo na kasi yung tanaan, damo, pamilya, nagtagtagto, din katuta, mahambalang na kay Manpisan, kung noong ila, lulo, wala ko nagkapati. It was still power and influence and education that brought them and gave them those properties. Research Grace, husband of Basa Benedictoria. Governor Iloilo 1912. Okay. In research ko paano nagdamo ang ila duta, ila kwarta. Sa una nga chimpo, kung educated ka, pag may kwarta ka jutay, mabayad ka, patapos ni hasta dira, hasta sa kundi wala putan sa mata mo, takson mo na siya. Pagtapos mo sila, failan mo na siya sa Manila. May special court na ma-file ang kapuna to for ownership of that particular property. Wala niya may na-contest sa imo, wala niya may maagaw sa imo, kaya kita nga pila mo lang kamangaranon, kita mo lang may istorya, na pray mo na di o ako, na di, iyan ito ni Kwan, iyan na di ni Kwan, okay ka na? So, kaya na nila. Later on, they created a branch in Bacolod, na Bureau of Lands, something like that. At kung i-grant sa Cortes, imo na na. So, that's how they became very, very rich. So, in Victorias, ang mga dagpo duta, Benedicto, mapati ka mo si Manuel Lopez, was governor of Negros, a lawyer, but at one point, siya ang ginkwa na abogado sa Banwa, sang nag-akusar ang kabataan ni Don Teodoro Benedicto na insaklang sa daan Banwang duwa ka pedaso nga duta. Okay? So nag-contest sila sa korte, ang ginkwa nila nga lawyer was Manuel Lopez. Eventually, Manuel Lopez married the sister of the incumbent mayor, Eliodoro Tonggoy, si Pas Tonggoy. That's why sa simbahan, makita nyo the land where the church stands today was donated by Manuel Lopez and Pas Tonggoy. Kaya nag-asawahan sila. But did you know ang land holdings ni Manuel after he became the lawyer defending the municipality of Victorias and eventual marriage to the sister of the incumbent mayor, alin sa Hacienda Los Angeles siding all the way to hasta halos hasta gid sa estado. Lopez ang naisa. That's why Ofelia, Ilabana, Los Angeles, tanan-tanan nga maagyan tadi. So, amo lang na. And of course, si Don Alejandro may duta man. Ang iyayan dito sa Salome, kakamunambal nila di sa Banwa. Si Ditching may arak man, do 700 hectares man. Alin naman niya diri sa may Quirino, ang assumption ko hasta na all the way hasta sa Takas. But anyway, going back, in the third time na we almost got dissolved, nag-contest kita sa korte, eventually na-perdi kita, that was the time when one day, Secretary Municipal Esteban Nalandoni had a visitor in his office, a Chinese businessman by the name of Alejandro Acuña Yatinya, na jokingly ginambalya, abi Alejandro, kung imo na daang duta, basi pwede mo mahatag sa syudad, kaya problema kami, kaya pahalinon din kami di sa mga Benedicto. And nagambal si Don Alejandro na kung inyo tugtan nga isaylo ang gobyerno dito karon mismo willing ako mag-sign sa isa ka eskrito nga ihatag ko ang akong duta dira sa may asyenda ginpanaan pabuk suba sa Magnanod, because when you are in the Banwa, the area where we are standing now is already across the river of Magnanod. And that time wala pa man tuya Gonzaga Street, Montinora Street, De Leon Street, ginpanaan taga may area or Magnanod. That's how they addressed it. Okay? So anyway, hambal ni Esteban Agantoni, kung seryoso kagin sa ginahambal mo, abi attend ka sa amon sesyon sa maabot nga Huwebes. And to everybody's surprise, before the session time, scheduled time arrived, si Don Alejandro was already there. And he offered to give his 20 hectares of his property to the municipality of Victorias para sa new town site dire. Okay? Now, kundi natin na to, amo na to siyang tatlo ka-occasions na if not of the resiliency of our leaders of the past, Victorias could have been gone long ago. Bas wala na Victorias. Basi may manapya na di. Because in that order issued by the Governor General in Manila, ang Victorias, tugang ipalakat sa Severino sa Manila, ang Victorias was supposed to be ipartidahon sa with Magnanod as the partition boundary, the northern part from the Funeraria de Victorias onwards towards Manapla will be part of Manapla, and to the south part, like where the Victorias Memorial Park, the Bangdadaan, the Torreno, will become part of Serapia. Okay? So I think it's important to teach our children that more than the tourism, more than economic boom, more than anything physical that we can see, there is an inner trait in every Victoriahanon. There is always a will inside of us, the will to survive, the will to be victorious, the will to always excel in something. I think we should adopt it as a natural trait for every Victoriahanon, because that alone can give us an unlimited inspiration to achieve our goals, our dreams, and our aspirations. So that's one thing that's important to really teach our children about. So again, that's resiliency, that's hard work, that's dedication, and that is victory in the end. Okay? So that's the part of the manuscript of Esteban Agantoni that we all know about. The reason why I said he probably wrote that manuscript in his retirement during wartime, because ang story niya, he died in 1954, but ang story niya ended only until 1927. That was during the attack of the Entrencherados. At tunggin, seize nila ang local government of Victorias because of this one leader from Panay, Entrencherato, na declared himself as the emperor of the Philippines, and that he draws his power from the spirit of Jose Rizal and from the Holy Spirit, and he was so good tawag nila, isang word, walang sweet words, grabe siya mag-convince. If you follow me, when I take over the government of the Philippines, I will have, very specific, 3,575 generals, 2,895 majors, 3,875 captains to manage, and I will give you a position. So in 1927, nagplano siya ay take over ang dagko nga city nga municipalities in Negros, Isabela, Bago, La Castellana at the time, and Victorias na daga. At Jose Gaston, o Gaston naman nga storya, halin naman pili siya uno, all the way naman hasta sa Jerry, hasta to sa Ninang, Lourdes, Tanan, isa naman nakapamilya. So, sa una. But anyway, luckily, si Jose Gaston in 1927 Meaning to say, 1927, tatay siya ni Monsignor Gaston, kung ang Hacienda Rosalia intindog 1933, waay pa ang Hacienda Rosalia in 1927, and probably waay pa man ang iya ruins dito sa iya Hacienda Nenang, bata pa siya, gin-inform niya si Segundo de Leon, ang mayor at that time, na watch out ka kay Bas at Akio ng imong banwa, ang imong munisipyo. Okay? And true to his word, at 6 in the morning, nanuktok na sa munisipyo ang followers ni Intrencherato, headed by the 5 Montarde brothers. Kaya nyo, hindi Montarde? Ilan na ancestors, 5 to. Okay, but anyway, did you know na ang unang munisipyo sa Victorias in 1907 up to 1936 or 1937, prior to the construction of the big municipal hall that we all know today, is the site where the home economics building of Victorias Elementary School stands today. Okay? HE. Okay? Nabalaan ko na because in the manuscript of Esteban Nelandoni, naghambal siya na on October 31, 1907, the date of the actual transfer of the township of Victorias from Daan Banwa to the present Poblacion area, they held a feast, a banquet in front of the intersection, at the intersection of what we all know today as Ascalon Street, formerly known as Lucero, Calle Lucero, and Calle Burgos. Gin-trace natin, that is the site where the City Hall building stands today. Kag kung tadlungon mo gid siya, after sila nalakat sila, dito gid katudlo sa aton HE. And very recently, nadiskubrihan natin because nakita natin ang blueprint mismo sa 1934 na original plan of the public plaza drawn by renowned architect, Philippine architect Juan Arellano in 1934. Kag sa iya plano, katindog niya mismo ang old na munisipyo in the compound of the Victorias Elementary School in front of the home economics building. Nga nagsingin ko in front ko earlier, naghambal ko aral sa economics building because in-explain man ni Arellano nga ang situation na ginbutang niya is only according to what was told to him. Okay? Kay Manila base siya. Okay? But anyone here who knows Tita Ebang Hover, Mrs. Eva Hagokoy Hover, siya naghimo signed testimony nga nadumduman niya nga sang gamay siya, gakanto siya sa home economics building kay arada ang munisipyo, arada nag-opisina si Tatay Atiban Nalandoni. Kaya adapt na sila ni Esteban Nalandoni, dira siya kapangayo, bago. So all this points out to only one place, and that is the home economics building of Victorias Elementary School. Okay? So, going back to Intrencherato, alas 6 ang aga na panuktok na wala iya din buksan kay tungod na amo ng order sang gwardya, but eventually nag-abot si Vicente Ardosa, former mayor man, kag nakabalo ay man ni sila malain ng plano, buro, ipasudla lang kay nahulat nila kung sa Intrencherato maabot ang bukas ng pertahan sa munisipyo sa home economics building. May balas sa kamot ang mga Intrencherado, ginsabwagan ang mata sa mga gwardya sa munisipyo, ginpagwa ang mga priso, kag actually may napatay gidman nga taga-munisipyo at that time, 2 kabilo. Until nga ang PC or Philippine Constabulary ang tawag sa una, nabtanta pa na, ang una na sa unang pulis pa, sang Cadiz kag sang Talisay, nagkanto dito to give reinforcement. It was also mentioned that si Don Felix Montinola, kung diin ang mayor sa una, naging ngalan ng eskwelahan, yung graduatean ko, Don Felix. Nag-abot man, dala niya iskupita nga kapit, naga-pajama, naga-chinilas to protect Victorias at that time. Okay? As talandang storya ni Esteban Nerandoni sa amon nga libro niya. Okay? The original copy of this came from Mrs. Eva Hoover. Mrs. Eva Hoover made a testimony nga ang original copy was given by Esteban Nerandoni himself to her mother for her so that when she graduates in college and receives her education degree at that time, that book should be given to her. Okay? And it was in 1999 when she turned it over to the city, to Mr. Arturo Cuesta, Mrs. Lorna Garcia, and Mayor Severo Palanca, who in turn created a cultural committee headed by Antonio Ascalon, Judge Arinday. That's how we got to this, okay? Now, another official historical record of the municipality of Victorias that we all know today is the one made by people like all of you, okay? In 1951, because tanan ng historical records in the National Library were destroyed during the bombing of Manila, during the liberation, when the Americans arrived, gets natin, nila bilog ng Manila. Remember that? Hasta National Museum na dala. So wala na gid record. President Elpidio Quirino issued Executive Order number 486, series of 1951, mandating the Bureau of Education, provinces, cities, municipalities, and barrios to submit to the National Library for re-recording, no, their historical data para maka-establish what records dito. So this is, I think, something that you should be proud of because this history book was written by your predecessors. In Victorias, in 1953, in compliance to that particular executive order, nag-submit ang aton nga Bureau of Public Schools, no? In Victorias. Bureau of Public Schools, Division of Negros Occidental, District of Victorias, March 29, 1953. Headed by then District Supervisor Mr. Agnes Hipolito. Composed of more than 100 teachers, contributors, no? Okay? So, ining libro maging submit sa National Library contain the history of Mike. Katahong din siniya sa ilagin submit because this contain the history of number 1, Estado. Who is from Estado? Ma'am? Estado, no? Also the history of Tizon, the history of Kawahon, the history of Bakumon, the history of Felicia, history of Daan Banwa and Victorias Elementary School. Not Victorias Elementary School, but VMC. No? Vigmico, not the elementary school, the whole VMC. Submitted by the teachers. So kanami siniki kanamo i-pick up nyo ng mga historical facts about your area or your locality, no? This is where I found out that the original town site of what we all know today as Estado proper, that community was originally situated in what is now known as Hacienda San Jose Isena. Okay? Ang original gidya inadaya kakahuyan lang na ang estado gidya sang una ato sa San Jose Isena. However, in 1916, ang tagiya sa San Jose Sena, until now sila magyapon ng tagiya, was Mayor Herbacio Miraflores. Ang bal niya Miraflores, isa tanan ni, kaya ang lugar na ini, kampuhan ko na tubo, kaya ang palibot at katubuhan niya na, okay? So ina siya ang estado owned by the municipal government, pero kakahuyan. So 1 kilometer southeast of where the actual site of the estado proper stands today, that was where the original community was situated, and that directs to the San Jose Sena today. Okay? So inside Lotega, that is why they call it estado, because the area where they transferred was owned by the state, by the government, by the municipality. So that is why estado siya. Okay? Ang Tizon naman yan, ang Tizon, who is from Tizon, ay, bayan siya po elementary school. May meeting ka? Oo, how did it turn to be called Tizon today? Because in 1926, original encargado by the name of, I think, still Absalon ang apelido, naghimo sila sing Taytay sa Kinaruyan River sa Ubosto pakadto sa Aida. Kita nyo may Taytay da sa pa. Naghimo sila dira sa pa. Kag ang sapa nga ina, ginimo ito, kag hinhingalan nila ang lugar dira sa pinakatigulang nga residente ang ilang community nga si Tizon. So that is why nag-Tizon ina siya. Okay? Later, may chismis kagit ko sa inyo. Abalo ka mo nga ang Tizon owned by Manuel ko, Valencia ko. Kabalo ka mo nga sang Antis Gira, mga 160 hectares ka na. Tapos Gira, nag 360 hectares na. Okay? Hasta na to sa mga 5, mga babaw-babaw, inaiya kay tungod na after the war, may mga claim damage, war damage claims ang mga pumuluyo at immigrants sa Amerika. So ang tanan nga nasunog balay mo, tanan nga napatay karabaw mo, tanan nga mga ano mo, ginarefund na nila tanan para ka-recover ang mga Pilipino. So according to the history of Tizon, ang iyaya share ni Manuel ko, ginubakal niya tugang to expand his land holdings in that area. That is why naglapad na da. Okay? And at one point during the war, ginsunog ang iya na balay, pero ang atong resistant government, meaning to say ang incumbent ng mga municipal officials nga gin-elect sa tao anti-Sangira. In the case of Victorias, it was during the time of Mayor Jose Hover Sr. Nagsaka na sila sa bukid, dito na sila sa Balma, kag sa 5, and at one point, in the brief period of time, in Tizon. Naghimo sila to tindahan na daw naging weekend market. Kaysa una, hindi ang tao kapanaog di, kaya hapon, ang mga tagapalibot na siyenda dito na nagkakadto kagapanindahan. Dito man nag-uso ang bartering system. Okay? Oh. So, tanan na siya, ari na di. Okay? Tapos, ari man di religious belief. Ari man di mga ritos during that time. So, katahong din sini. That is why the Sangguniang Bayan, the Sangguniang Panunsod of Victorias enacted an ordinance declaring this as among the official historical record of Victorias, as well as the manuscript of Esteban Alandoni. Okay, ari. Diri nga record kanami sini kay ginsaysay ginadi isa-isa ang during sang Japanese time. From this book, we came to know the actual day when the Japanese arrived in Victorias. Also the actual day when all the houses in Victorias were burned down. Abo kamo nga ang nabilin ng gid were two things. Number one, ang City Hall. Number two, ang Tsindahan. All the rest, 90% sunog ni tanan. Hasta ang Victorias Elementary School ay kami makita. Mga gabal doon after the war na natana. Okay? Insunog not by the Japanese, but mismo by the guerrilla or the underground movement. Because they do not want the Japanese to make Victorias their headquarters or even camp here. So, ginpatag, nila tanan, para way kamulistaran. Okay? So, amo na siya natabo. Pero, there is a portion in the town proper na gaway na mayo malabot sa nila sunog. Amo na akong mga kaedad ko o may edad sa akong jutay, kung natungduman nyo, sa Casañares Street, may makita pa kamo nga daw mga medyo dumaan na balay sa una. Ay Servintanilla, hindi Caproy, ang diretsyo pag-ida, kaya mo lang na sila ang nabilin. Okay? Nag-evacuate ang municipal government, civilians ang 1942. Ang Japanese nagsulod, entered poblasyon more or less at 9:30 in the morning of May 27, 1940. Okay? Burning of the town under the underground movement natabo sang September 19, 1942. Imaginan nyo ang chaos, imaginan nyo ang kasubo, ang tanan na pains na ma-experience ang mga tao during that time. Ang first bombing sa Americans natabo sa in Victorias, natabo sa September 8, 1944. Pag-abot na nila. Okay. Entrance of the American soldiers liberating the people of Victorias, April 26, 1944. Okay. May execute ang mga Japanese on record sa Katao, probably in the public plaza, by the name of Filomeno Horitico, a grandfather of Ma'am Agnes, Ma'am Elaine, tatay ni Ma'am Elaine, si Cho Boneng, tatay ni Cho Boneng, amo na si Filomeno Horitico. The boy Horitico that we all know, the papa of BJ, was only the apo who was named after him. But the original Filomeno Horitico was the one who was executed. Did you know that there were also two brothers of Mayor Severo Palanca who are also considered war heroes? Ang isa nila kautod si Carlos Palanca, nadakpat na POW or Prisoners of War sa Bataan. Isa siya sa mga ginpa-march. Because he was the captain of the guerrilla movement. And what he did was he sold one of their properties in Manila and donated the money to the underground movement. And he got caught. So he was made to walk along with the rest who were made to walk, and eventually he was executed. Okay? But he was with his younger brother, Almerio, who was just nasalaan nga underground man, naging torture man, naging kastigo man. But eventually, get-exchange siyang kabuhi for his younger brother na i-release siya. So nag-allow siya na execute na lang siya. So may mga amo na si Delphine Casañares, Kapitan Casañares sa Malinong, si Bebot Casañares, ang tatay na along with Mr. Rolando Angkan sa Barangay 2, tiyo ni Lieutenant General Angkan, na Senate Sergeant at Arms. Ara na sila sa Bataan, halin, naka-eskapo sila tuya, pero nagpuling sila di sa aton, kag nag-volunteer sa guerrilla and continue the fight for our freedom. So, kamuna sila. One tragic story that I would like to tell you is the story of the Montinola family. Si Don Felix and his wife, ang iyang eldest daughter was Quintina Montinola, married to Fermin, the mother of Mayor Jesus Fermin, Renato Fermin, and Rolando Fermin o si Vic Fermin. Sa una, kay mga manggaranon dito kay eskwela sa Manila. Karon ginbombing December 8 ang Pearl Harbor. Mapati ka mo nga hours lang, may part na sa Philippines nga ginbomb sa mga Hapon. Kabalo ka mo nga in Southeast Asia, Philippines was the #1 target of the Japanese because we were under American rule. So that is why halin sila to, o silang kapo ito sang ubos ang soldado sa Pearl Harbor, diretsyo na sila sa Pilipinas. That was in Hawaii, in Pearl Harbor. It took place December 7. But in the Philippines, it's a day after, it's December 8. And by 3 a.m. of December 9, ari na sila sa Pilipinas. May mga signs na. So, nga mga manggaranon nga eskwela sa Manila, no? Ginpakuli na sa mga ginikanan. Si Doña Quintina Fermin had 3 children and 1 brother, 4 children and 1 brother nga ato sa Manila ang nagpuli on December 16. That's a week after the first bombing of Pearl Harbor. Ugaling kay tungod nga tila barko ang sakyan, imbis nga 10 p.m. ang schedule, nag-leave early at 8 p.m., wala na sila nagulat sa mga convoy sa US military na mag-guide sa ila along Bataan na earlier natamnan na gali sa mga mines sa mga Amerikano. So ang ila barko, unggo nagdupo. Okay? Pero kung nagulat sila 10 p.m. mismo as schedule, no, dahil sila sa US military, kag nag-guide sila na hindi mag-ati, dere, kaya may mga gintanong na taong. In that incident, in Victorias, ang bata ni Quintina, nga si Stella, kag si Esther, Stella, kag si Esther, kag ang bata iya pagid nga si Hernan, kag ang bata iya pagid kag ang iya utod nga si Dr. Guillermo nga bata ni Don Felix kag ni Doña Dorotea patay gid. Pero nabuhi si Rolando Fermin na 10 years old at that time. Na naka-survive siya, why di siya ka-inchindi as taga napatay siya. Pero ato siya was a big tragedy for the Montinola family. Halos mabuang dito kuno si Ina. Malumpat siya sa bintana kay tungod na in an instance nadula ang bata iya nga si Esther, si Stella, kag si Hernan, kag ang utod niya. That is why si Mayor Jesus Fermin in adulthood pagpangasawa niya ang iya bata nga babae ginpangalan niya after his sisters who perished in that fateful incident in 1941. Yung pangalan niya bata iya si Esther, kag si Stella Lacson, kag si Esther Kitagamay Akaling were namesakes of her sisters. Kag his sisters. Kag si Rolando Fermin naman niya, ginpangalan niya man ang isaya ka bata kay Hernan Fermin in honor of the memory of his brother who perished in that incident. Kag si Jesus ang isaya ka bata nga laki, ginpangalan niya man after his uncle who also perished, Guillermo, amo na si Willie Fermin. Kung kadumdum ka mo kay Willie Fermin, napatay naman to siya. Pero amo na nga incident. As talang napatay, hindi siya Los Muntinula, hindi sa Lod Muntinula, mga katigulangan sa Muntinula, wala din silang kapamisa sa sadtong mga nagkalamatay, kay gapati sila nga basi kung gindala lang sang anod sa ibang na lugar kung buhik pa to sila yas kasubong. So wala din sila kapamisa because may mga sugilanon nga at to sila sa mga Babuyan Island o sa diin kaya ang iba hindi nakatungdong na kala wag Indonesia. So damo ang kwarta na ubos nila papanita pa search why naging makita. Pagwaitin nila ginpamisahan kay Pasig pa lang po eh. So amo na mga iba nga mga family stories sa Victorias, no? So we sympathize with them. It took place a long time ago, but you know, whenever I hear that story, I can still feel the pain that that family has to go through during that time. Just to, okay? Alam, pag itsanginin mo sa mga maestra, may mga folk songs, kag may mga riddles, din sa nila. Ang una ganiya, manipulon nga daw bola, nagalambot sa Amerika. Ano na siya? Moon and Stars. Baston ni San Jose, hindi maisip. Yan. Kung nagapungko mataas, kung magatindog manubo. Sino nga tawo nga jutay buhok nga pulusayon pero malapad guya nga silibinan? Sino nga tawo nga jutay buhok nga pulusayon pero malapad guya na silibinan? Albo, bold-headed. Mabatian ninyo ang gahod na mahimo ko, pero hindi ninyo ako makita. Angin, perfect pa na. Atahong na dalaga, nagapaligo adlaw-adlaw. Inggan ang sabat. Ang puti nga daw papel, berde nga daw hilaw makahil, makahang nga daw katumbal. Radish. Kabayo sa Cagayan, hindi maghalaw kung hindi pagsakyan. Scraper, putukan. Nagadalagan na wala ginalagas, nagasinggit na wala ginaanha. Nagadalagan na wala ginalagas, nagasinggit na wala ginanha. Fish vendor. Ang nanay niya nagakamang, ang bata niya nagapungko. Basta, perfect. Nagalakat na waay tiil, nagahambal na waay sindila. Pero, makahibalo maghambal sa in-English kag kinat sila. Fountain pen. Kitsa una kinat sila in-English yun. Kajutay pa kay kumpare, makahibalo na magsaka sa lubi. Amula, kag may mga games man sila. Ang games ang una nga chimpo, pilo, shotbong, hawk and chicken, hide and seek, night and day, tumbak atis, obiganay, jump the spine, skipping rope, sipa, two-dip, cat and mouse, ball games. Ang amusements ang tawo, fighting, boxing, parlor games, arswela, murumuro, Halloween games. May mga folk songs man sila. So, another info, Jutay, ang atong simbahan, okay, the municipality of Victorias, known before as Pueblo de Nuestra Señora de las Victorias, was actually founded in 1876. I was the one who discovered the documents in the records of the National Archives of the Philippines. There was a royal decree that created the Pueblo of Nuestra Señora de las Victorias, dated 1876. To be exact, March 23, 1876. Okay? Religious lang yung revolution ng history. Okay? Ang ating assumption is puro dandaan yun ang simbahan sa Daan Banwa kay Piarat ng Daan Banwa. Hindi gali. The parish of Victorias was created only in 1918. Okay? So in short, ang simbahan sa Daan Banwa was only a chapel or a medyo parokyal lang pala sa TV Magalona. Okay? That is why in the records of death, marriages, and births of EB Magalona, makadto ka mo to, kita ka mo libro tag 1864, 1865, 1876, 77, 90, hasta 1900s. Ang unang nga chimpos, ang ginambal ko kagina, nga ang sakop sa Sarabia, malawon pa. In 1882, there was a cholera pandemic that took the lives of 1,592 in the parish of San Jose de Sarabia. So ang iba ng Victoriano na napatay, arak pa na siya sa Iyak at Susang Sarabia. Kaya at that time, ato pa ito ang official na parish natin. Okay? Ang deriya sa Victorias, nagsaylo pa sa taong proper, 1907, but it did not take until 1918 when they established the Our Lady of Victory Parish. And I saw a picture, kato mo ang dako ni ng munisipyo, ang simbahan makita na subok. What idea? Sino may idea kung saan o magpindo? Okay? 1956. Tapos nangira, funded by BMC. Okay? Mainly, hindi lang tanan. Pero kita ko picture na ang daan na simbahan sa 1918 up to 1956, ginitindok ang dako, arak na ng pormay, ang simbahan nga gamay arak pa sa sulod. They did not demolish the old church until the Our Lady of Victory Church that we can see today have been established, constructed. So arak sa sulod, tapos ginuba. Kung kahuman, luga mo amo man ang iya, pasal kung ano sa lang, kung gamay lang siya na simbahan. So again, it's a 1956 church that was built through the help of BMC. Okay? May arak, because we are trying to learn about the history of Victorias, may share lang ko sa inyo. I have a project called the Legacy Series. This is the story of the mayors who ruled Victorias before. That project tells about their legacy, their achievements, the things that they did during the time. Iyat ko mo i-invite kung may access ka mo sa YouTube. So, rigid ba sa ako ngalan, SPM, Dino Acuña. Search niyo sa YouTube. There niyo makita ang history, ang legacy sa atong mga mayors. So bukas na kami kay Don Felix Montinola, pero ang tanan na nasulat na, amo na siyang result sa amon research kag sa akong man nga nabalaan, naluyag ko i-share. Ang main purpose kung sinatani is for the students to also be able to be given the opportunity to be aware of the things that took place in Victorias, of the efforts, the dedication, hard works of our past leaders. Because if you come to think of it, the beauty that we now see today, katahom sa plaza, katahom sa munisipyo, sa Coliseum, may simbahan, all of these things is a result of the collective efforts of our past leaders, past and present leaders. So when though we fall short of honoring them, of even knowing them, we know that there is Gonzaga Street, we know that there is Hoover Street, we know that there is Halandoni Street and Quezon Street and Ardosa Street, but nobody really knows what did they do and who are they. But this legacy series, kung may access ka mo, try to search SPM Dino Acuña and then arada from unang yung mayor, kaduwa pasunod na sila tanan. I think though medyo educational and informative, so I really invite you to share it with your students so that that is also a way of us teaching them of the glorious and rich history of Victorias. No? So, muna, and then, ano pa? Okay na. Naama na ang story akin dahil pwede kita sa ma'am kay inang webet ka mo internet, no? Ako may internet sa school. one thing that I would like to talk about with Ma'am Portia Tane and Ma'am, of course, SDO, dun sa IMO, is how can we find a way to be able to relay the story of history and heritage about Victorias to our students. Because when you teach them at this age, hindi na nila malimtan. And along with it, will also, grow in them that drive to love and be faithful to the city and serve the city. Though kadamo, wala naman ito na nila. Ang akon mahambal is this. I truly believe in my heart that teaching our students history, especially the history of our town, is really important. Because this is something that we can bequeath to them, that they will bring wherever they go as they grow old, aral na yun sa ila. And I think as a result of it, will also give birth to the will to love the city, will to serve the city faithfully in whatever endeavors that they may go through in their life. Maski mag-maestra sila in the future, mag-engineer sila in the future, that's something that we can really, give to them. So, do ka namin man, kung mahimo na nablamang.
Yes, sir. Because right now we have the Learning Resource Division,
Okay.
headed by Sir Donnel as our education program supervisor in the Learning Resource Management. So we can have it by
Can we compile all the videos? So like I'm watching your videos. Yeah. And your latest video, I think, on National Nena. So, dinaisip ko na, sir, how we integrate that with the instruction. Can we compile all those videos? Sa pinaka-atas sa ila, sir.
Aside from the history materials that we have, we are also engaged into. Did you know that I saw it in the records of the National Historical Commission that there was a cemetery located sa ginsangan sa Malihaw kag sa Magnanon. Especially tagadan pa no kay sindi na. Kabalo ka mo nga ang aton suba ng Malihaw kag ang Magnanon nag-join na sila. Nasungagwa na to as Malihaw na lang sa gibuangan na sa gwa na papasil pakadto na sa gwa na gid. In the records of the National Historical Commission, nag-mention that during the Spanish time, the Spaniards introduced to the natives of Malihaw their practices and culture and ila beliefs. And among those that they introduced to the natives is the practice of public burial ground. Sa una, at least ang katsila, wala man tayo orientation, nagamit atyugit, dala na iyang influence ang katsila. Guro mapatay pa sa una, mga natives, kung lang na yun, kundi ito sa mapatay. So, according to the records of the National Historical Commission, arat sa ginsangan sa Magnanon kag Malihaw. Actually, sir, nagkadto kami to, lagi kay ang ginsangan, puros na lang kanipaan. So, why did kami may nakita na trace, but hindi na siya imposible nga ang why kami may nakita. Kay over time, tungod sa siltation, sa erosion, kasaka man, gadalo man tuguro ang ugat sa mga kanipaan, hindi na makita. Pero we will continue to search, okay? Kahit ang partisan nila, matukulihin namon, may to na 1933. So nakita ta. Ang isa pagit nga amon mani-feature to sa nina, ang balay ni Gaston, na yung si Gaston, na dako. Ang bubon sa likod balay, na amo ang source ng water nila, subong tanawon, bubuhit kaya po na bubon, kaya may tubig kaya po. So himuan na namon. Ang isa namon ginapinsa pagit, ang nara sa kilit elementary. Kita nyo? Sus kadamo na nagyan sila na narada. Magpa-Quezon, kakagundong ka. Many times, do tayo na ginatapson, pero do wala gid matikayon, kag happy gid na wala matikayon. Sa una, ang lula ko mistra nag-adoptar sa akon, kasro niya gid ng ikod sina, tara kami alos ako nagtako. Sa una, hambal niya may babae ko pakita, may amoni, may amona. Pero hambal ni Tito Roming Lopez, why gid sila may nabatsagan? Pero I think that tree, has become a part of the lives of many Victorianos who passes through that road since time immemorial. So that is one thing that is also worth honoring. No? So, may Veterans Monument kita. I would also like to invite you and maybe your students sometimes kasi mapabasa nyo sila. What is unique about this Veterans Memorial Square that we inaugurated yesterday? For a number of things na significant is, number one, okay, share ko sa inyo. Ang mga veterano sa Victorias sa 1991 pa lang, nagkakampanya na kung pwede makapatindog sa Veterans Monument sa plaza para ma-honor man ang sacrifices nila mismo. Okay? In 1991, bago pa lang natuman, after 33 years, tanan sila napatay na. Okay? Isa na lang nabilin. Si Choro Drain Olis na lang ang nabilin. Pero kinday Brudo, kinday Roldan, kinday Rosandi, kinday Nisol, ubos na patay. And we are very, very happy that finally, it has always been never too late, no? At least ara na siya. And what's unique about our Veterans Monument is that it is the only Veterans Monument in the province that features the 4 resistant forces that fought against the Japanese invaders. Okay? USAFE by the US, mga Filipinos na silang military, ang atong guerrilla. Okay, these are volunteers na nag-capture gidya armas, nag-combat gidya. So guerrilla that we need to honor. And also, ang atong civil government. Sang chimpo sa to, si Alfredo Montilibano, military governor of the whole island of Negros that included the Oriental and the island of Siquijor. Under his command, nag-create sila sa mga resistance government kada banwa para mag-ahaway sa mga Hapon. And lastly, I was sharing yesterday, a few days back, when they were installing the statues, the 4 statues in the, I could not help it, but since I know the history of these statues, but shed tears of joy, because finally to be able to see them standing in the public plaza, these are the forces who defended so that today we enjoy our liberty, so that today we have a Philippines of our own, so that today we have independence and democracy. So ang muna na dapat dipinsahan rin ng demokrasya because so many blood and lives have been shed just to protect it. So ang ika-4 is the volunteer guard, ang statue yan. Ang volunteer guard are just ordinary citizens just like you and me. Pero kami ang nangimboy sa mga USAPE, guerrilla, civil government. Sila ni maluhakwat sa mga ammunition, sa mga bugas na konsumo, manutulong. Dati niilang nakuno. And what's sad about them? After the war, in-reward ang nananagirira USAPE, may mga pensyon ng veterans, sila yung wala. Kung natagaan din man sila very minimal, pero happily they embrace their contribution para sa independence na. Ako sila mga factor. May kawayan at sila may buho. The station ko di sa high school, station kato sa may north, station kato sa may Jurassic sa Los Angeles. Kada patik mo muna kunara ng hapon, magkatian sa isa magiging ka-volunteer guard to, ipatik yan naman, hasta nga ma-relay ang information na pakadto ng hapon so that makaprepare ang mga guerrilla, kagang mga USAPE, makapalagyo, makaprepare combat. Ang muna ila role. So, I am so happy that in Victorias we were able to honor them. Okay? And also, this is the only Veterans Monument also that tells about the history kay tungod dira may narratives gidera na kincompile naton about the events that took place in Victorias prior, during, and after the war. So kung makadto kada, dayon mo estudyante, basahon yung tanan, by that time natapos may basa, nabalaan yung ako na nugit ang natabo sa Victorias ang check mo hapon. Okay? So, do educational siya, ma'am. Ang monument may upod ng history. So, may damo ka ma-learn, damo ka matuon. In ang mga documents was ginpakita ko sa National Library, sa National Historical Commission, sa mga war books, sa recollection, sa mga tigulang. I compiled them all, I researched them, para nga at least may ara kang nga one-stop shop na makita mo. Kag hindi sila nga kailangan, moving magpa-library, makapagplasa ka, mas kinamatamaton mo, may matunan kag ma-appreciate mo ang. So, those are the things that I think, though generally hindi target ma-appreciate sa iba, especially kung mga busy na tao, pero importante na magalat na discussion. Okay? May Veterans Monument. So, ang mga na, I think si Mayor Javi and si Kong Kiko are also deeply into culture, history, and arts, no? Si Kong Kiko especially. Kung si Mayor Javi, nakita ko na gusto niya i-preserve ang aton nga culture, ang aton history in Victorias. That is why he has commissioned Negros renowned architect and book writer, Mr. Modesto Saonoy, to write the history of Victorias from 1845 up to 1945. So in May, we will launch that book. We are closely collaborating and natapos na ang 6 chapters. Tapos ng preface, ang messages. Mag-meeting na kami next week to finalize the book cover, and hopefully on the occasion of the founding of the Pueblo de Nuestra Señora de las Victorias on May 23, 2024, with the Mayor's approval, kasi i-launch na ang book na iba. So that is also one good source of material. Okay? So ang roles ng DepEd. I don't know hindi ko kabalo kung ano ang una ko ihambal. Unfortunately, I think the main duty that is bound on all of you is to exert all possible efforts to be able to teach our children about these things. No? I think it may not sound that serious, but I think it's very important. Teaching them history will help, in the shaping of their future. Ang mindset nila, ang ako yung hindi dyan nakita, kung kabalo ka sa history, matubo hindi sa imong gugma to be loyal to your job, to your government, to your place, to your people, to baka navigate. So let's teach our children to be like this. No? So I think dako ang role that is called upon you, and let's help build this awareness to our students. Okay? So, doon mo lang na, ma'am. Thank you. It's a big honor for me to have been invited. Rest assured, I assure all of you, anytime you call me, you invite me, you ask me if you have questions, I will do my best to be able to answer and to give you the right answer. So, hindi tanan, why po disclaimer, I don't claim that I know everything, I don't claim that I am the expert on this, but I would just call myself as a lover and protector of the history of Victorias and our country. So, salamat kid, and it's a big honor. Salamat kid.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dino Aconia. Indeed, we must teach our children the heritage of our city, and the inner trait in every Victoriano, the will to survive, and the resiliency in each and every one of us. We truly appreciate your time and endeavor in sharing with us the historical data of Victoria's city. So with this, the Republic of the Philippines Department of Education, Region 6, Western Visayas, City Schools Division of Victorias awards the Certificate of Recognition to Honorable Dino Jose Maria O. Acuna for sharing his expertise as a resource speaker that contributed to the success of this orientation on cultural mapping and other related activities held in Victoria's North Elementary School ICT room on March 22, 2024. Given this 22nd day of March 2024 at Victoria's North Elementary School ICT room, Victoria City, Negros Occidental, signed by Portia Mission Mallorca, PhD, CES 5, our Schools Division Superintendent. Again, let's give Honorable Dino a round of applause together with our program owner, Ma'am Agnes Peñas, and our EPS in LRMS.
Pwede ko ka pa pictures?
Actually, sir, we're so grateful of your presence. Thank you so much. And nag-ulat din kami and ulat ko mga kami ka-support ni Kamisan Programs ang school. Okay, thank you so much, sir. So let's have a picture taking with our Honorable Dina Konya. So, ano ba yung dulo na din? Ay, okay. So, Diril lang, and then